On today's show, we're talking about the Light Scoop by Light Genius. Hey there folks, welcome back to the Photo Video Show where we explore all things photography. I'm your host, Mark Puckett, and on today's show we're going to be talking about the Light Scoop number 2 from Light Genius. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, what is the Light Scoop? Effectively, it's a flash modifier, but it's the only flash modifier that's designed to mount on the narrow side of your flash head. Now, the special shape of the Light Scoop spreads and softens the narrow beam of light that's sent out by the camera's flash. So without having to change the position on the light scoop, the light source still remains higher than the camera lens in both portrait and landscape modes for vertical or horizontal photographs. And you might be asking yourself why that's even important. Well, that's the reason we generally keep our flash heads and studio lights up much higher than the models that we photograph, because we force the shadows down and away from backgrounds. So it's very important that any sort of light source or modifier stays up higher than your subject. And when off-camera flash just isn't an option, that is where the Light Genius Light Scoop 2 can come in and fill that gap. Next up, let's talk about materials. The strap itself is basically elastic Velcro that has been stitched on to the backside of the unit. The Velcro seems very strong and durable, and I happen to actually like the design of the strap itself. Now, the main unit itself is essentially a couple of sandwiched together pieces of closed-cell foam with an inner wire core that helps to maintain the modifier's shape and position. And as far as ever having to worry about damaging any of your other gear, this material is a very soft, pliable, easy to work with kind of material. This is a very soft, easy to use foam. It's not going to scuff or scratch anything in your camera bag when you go to transport it. Me having experience with similar types of material, with the proper maintenance, this thing could probably last you indefinitely. Now, the inner wire core, even though it's meant to be bent and pliable a bit, just don't do it too often, as it may degrade the overall lifespan of your light scoop. Okay guys, enough playing around. Now that we've got our light scoop securely placed on top of our flash head, it's time to take a few test shots and see what kind of quality of light this little guy can produce. So the first thing that I noticed when I started using the light scoop was that the fall off of my light was a lot more gradual. Generally, when you're using an extremely high powered light source like a flash and you blast your subject with that light, the light falls off very quickly, so effectively your background falls all the way to black. Instead of gradually getting darker, it just goes all the way dark. So when you use the light scoop and it scatters the light a bit more, you get a more even gradual fall off of that light, so that you're not completely darkening the entire scene. So in these examples, this is a real world test, and me and my girlfriend are roughly the same height. So when you use the light scoop the way it's intended to, you can notice that the shadow on the back of the wall is significantly lower than the top of her head. So the shadow is effectively being pushed down back behind your subject to a much more manageable level. Next up, we took our excursion outside, and as you can see, when you use the light scoop to directly focus the light on your subject, you get a very sort of blown out, washed out look. But if you tilt it off just a bit to the side, you get a little bit more of a softer, more pleasing quality of light. And then if you tilt it back just a little bit from there and off to the side, you get the catch light in your subject's eyes, and you still get the soft, natural light. It looks much better in my opinion. So while you can use it to really just sort of blast the light in the direction of your subject and make sure that you capture it, if you're looking for a little bit more creativity, rotate your flash head around just a little bit and experiment and see how it ends up turning out for you. And without any apologies, here's a picture of my awesome dog, Boo Bear the Magnificent. So, as I was trying to describe before, I seem to have better results when I would take my flash from this original position at 90 degrees and 90 degrees, and then I would tilt the flash head down to either the 60 or the 45 degree angle, and then I would simply turn it around to the 60 degree position, rotated backwards, and then I would go ahead and take my shot. overall, I felt like I was getting better shots with this position, and you guys might as well too. So there you have it, and there you go, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and if you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and also subscribe to the channel so that you can stay up to date with all the new videos that I release here on the Photo Video Show. So, at any rate, thanks again for stopping here. I'm your host, Mark Puckett, and I'll see you guys again on the next one. Peace.